Welcome to this week's Bushel Up. Brandon coming to you from Aurora here. And I've received a few phone calls over the last week from growers and some of our agronomists just asking where are we at on GDUs. So I do want to reset just kind of where are we at. I think that question comes because we've been cool here for the last week. We were pretty hot for the couple weeks before that. And so right now, I'm going to use this farm as an example, planted May 6th. 113-day hybrid. Right now I'm at about 1,820, 1,850 GDUs, kind of in that range. Typically we'd be more in that 1,950. So right now we're tracking about 100 GDUs behind. The only exception is if you caught some of them early April ones, some early April planted. We talked about that earlier in the year. So we're about 4 to 5 days probably behind normal if you look at our GDU curve. So I know it felt like we picked up a lot of heat, but obviously that's kind of a window where we max out GDUs. So we have dropped behind a little bit here. Am I concerned about it? Not really, but I think this is a key piece of information when we look at some of the fields that we're seeing some southern rust come in late, maybe fire back up. We've got some tar spot fields to the north and east that are really starting to light up. And the question becomes, do I do anything or do I just try to ride it out? Well, for example, on this field at 1,900 GDUs, if I project historical data forward, I will not black layer out here till September 24th. And so, I still got a good part of 6 weeks to go before I even hit black layer. So just be aware of where your field conditions are at. I know it may feel like we're getting to the end, this cool fall weather maybe gives us a false sense of reality that this crop may be further along than what it really is. So I'm just giving you facts. I know it's a hard call when you decide, am I going to spend more money? I really don't want to, but I do caution you, this crop may not be as far along as we think. You look, here's a 109-day hybrid. I'm just getting into that good milk stage, not really quite into dough. Some of our further along corn might be in that dough stage, but we're still talking a good 4 to 6 weeks that we need to keep this plant alive. We pack on weight and starch in those kernels all the way to the finish line. That's why we talk about water and late and keeping these plants healthy. Keeping them healthy also plays into standability. I was in our sweet corn patch this weekend. We didn't spray fungicide on that, and it's loaded with southern rust. And I started seeing a lot of southern rust on the stalk. And going back from my past experience, you get that southern rust up and down the stalk. It kills that stalk prematurely. And we think about black layer being the finish line. That's not the finish line for me. I want that stalk to stay alive as long as possible for standability purposes, for good dry down and all those things. So we compromise that stalk and kill it off. Now we have down corn, now we have slow dry downs, a whole host of problems. So just some things to consider. I know as I look at fields, some seem to be loaded up pretty good with some southern rust. Some in the lower canopy, maybe not so much on top. You're going to have to weigh that decision field by field. I'm certainly not in the camp that says we can just outrun it at this point in stage. We still have a long ways to go. So use those facts accordingly. When we look at soybeans, again, here we found white mold a couple weeks ago. Now seems to be staying in check on our fields with the fungicide applications. But again, just got to keep watching stuff. We know bad white mold can cost 20 to 30 bushels, so just weigh the economics in your head as you're making these decisions. Beans are progressing pretty nicely. We've had some R4, R5 beans. What I'm still seeing is still some flowering. We're still putting some pods, small pods on top. So definitely this is a key time for water and soybeans. Hopefully use this cool weather to get ahead of the game and soaking up those soybeans, because they really are pulling more water than corn right now. Our moisture probes have been showing us that here the last week. Beans are taking a little more than corn, but finally, we're going to make our last fertigation pass here. Just try to pack a little extra weight on this, make sure we got that last bit of nitrogen out here. So that's something you can consider. We're going to do some pivot max along with a little bit of nitrogen. So keep those things in mind as we move forward. If you have any questions, please reach out. We'd be glad to help and help you weigh some of these decisions.